Part of the reason why I chose this reading is that this is kind of my home base. When I'm not writing poetry, I am here all the time. But it is a really great place to be. So thank you all so much for coming. And yeah, so I guess I get to read from home base advantage. And I've found that no matter what you do, your work is going to seep into your writing. So this next poem shows that probably more than any of my rest, and the headline, or excuse me, the title is called Headline Here. See, I'm already confusing it. A child says, I want all the days to end so I can rest. Already the problem we live with. Just another day at the office. 2 journalists shot live on air. A viewer says they were like real people. A language dies every 14 days. A grieving husband plants a ribbon of sunflowers, tries to fall in love again, but the women all feel like the beach in winter, taste like wine left out overnight. We're mining sunlight these days, ain't that something? I love when the weatherman is wrong, when the rain comes unbeckoned. A hummingbird tries to drink from the chili peppers on my porch. In India, a man jumps from a building, doesn't feel the impact, walks away. He dies within hours, internal bleeding. Let's not kid ourselves. Here, we're all waiting for a break in traffic. I'm talking nights spent chasing dive bars, our past served up warm as well liquor in a plastic cup, like a tap running, then I thought. Waking. Sometimes too much light gets in, eyes wide as belladonna, pupils dilated, full of black cherries. You swallow the question dawning in your throat. Where does time go? Unmoored in the red maw of morning, the mind, a roof above the lantern, a flower bed, perhaps a reeling film projector, every sunset at once. Maybe death is just your favorite radio station cutting out at the edge of town, a static reading without kindness. Nothing is implied, just the spacious breath of this division. An empty room. Once, women swallowed dead nettle, bitter buttons, pennyroyal, chamomile. A fable unraveled, a feeble new moon, then fragile raw ruin, chamber silence. Now, dilation and curate, a filter, a cast net, like hair waving in drains, like hair caught in briars and combs, strands waving in drains to decipher. An open window, a handkerchief quiver, corroded chiffon, lacerated gauze, barely an outline, a sunken shiver. This one's called Fog Lifting. At this very moment, a star's collapsing, a whole field of flowers wilts. All you can do is stare up at the husks of ladybugs dried and gathered in the overhead light. If only you hadn't left the glass on the edge of the windowsill, hadn't whispered that secret in your sleep. In your hands, the sky and the grave are not the same, as if they never touched. Here, ground so saturated, most of what falls won't be absorbed. So keep on crying with your cheek pressed to the earth. See what good it does you. Sing a ballad written down without its melody, saw the days into planks and build a birdhouse, paint it gold. This year's leap of faith will be from a few floors higher. For answers, you don't need to look far. And on that note, Mark Cox pointed out that planks are generally large pieces of wood. right, I'm just gonna talk about that for a second. You could cut a plank into a smaller piece of wood, or you could build a very large birdhouse. You could build a birdhouse for an eagle. You could build a house for an ostrich. You could also just build a communal sort of birdhouse, because maybe birds are less shitty than we are, and maybe they want to actually like live together and commune. So I'm just gonna say I stand by that image. Right. That's okay. I might add that in. Thank you for that. So in West Virginia, a lot of people are eating deer meat this season, and it's tough and lean and it's kind of blood red, and I'm missing. Although I never really liked eating it anyway. So anyway, doe season in Braxton County, West Virginia. The neighbor tells us how a doe's blood will spread over the hillside as it brushes the leaves. He tells us to take what we need: flanks, backstrap, the racks of ribs. That first night, you and your brother drink scotch. The bottle burns out like fires must. I peel clementines and toss their skins into the boiling pot on the wood stove. At night, we need each other's teeth that do not touch. We cease being a home for one another, become just a rattling radiator about to sputter out. After the morning's mist kill, we're all looking down the barrel of your rifle. The iron sight's off, a hair to the left, and that's all it takes to miss your mark. The doe your brother shot is skinned and hanging from a beam outside. We wait all day for the blood to drain. Here, we use everything down to its essence: the citrus, the fallen trees, the shot doe. Cut meat to the bone, look at each other over the carcass. There's a golden ring in the forest of your eyes. I once took it to be a sign. The sharpest knife cuts away the silver skin, the tough connective tissue. Clutch the opaque flap to preserve the meat, lean from running. While I butcher, you tap on the iron sight with a hammer. You're attempting to set things straight. After the season has ended, your brother spreads the bones and trimmings at the top of the hill. The coyotes eat tonight on all we've cast aside. As we leave the cabin, from the mouth of the valley, a host of sparrows rises. The knot flits like a mirage against the muted mountain. And this next poem is from the forms class. And unlike some forms that I hated, like the Sestina, thank you Sestina for all your joys, the guzzle I actually enjoyed. So thank you, Mike, if you're still here, for forcing me to try this form. This poem is called In Your Hands. Everything burns brighter in your hands. The matchstick, dried leaf, my cheek in your hands. How does the horizon capture the sun, and how can it bear to let go again? You hold clouds in your hands. Do birds get songs stuck in their heads? I murmur the answer into your hands. Where do all the saved ashes go, those urns holding strangers? Bouquets never dry in your hands. What does the moon do to feel indulgent? Pull me in like the tide with your hands. Why do flowers never cry, and why do we cut them? My hair turns to paper cranes in your hands. Is that like a star? It has to be. Nothing else stays so still in your hands. When we die, the last breath emerges as a honeybee. I kiss your palm, magnolia blooms in your hands. And this last poem. I read this over in Leland to a crowd of, surprisingly, mostly elderly women. It is called Sexting. And I was very nervous about this. This was the poem that I had printed out, and this was the poem that I had. So I went forward with it, and I thought they would hate it, or would be insulted by it, or some combination of the two, or wouldn't just understand it. But at the end of it, they actually cheered. Not they cheered. So I hope it is as well received here as it was from that audience. So thank you all for listening. Sexting. All right, I got it. All right. They were real cute. You say words work when our hands can't reach. So I try, send messages that set a scene. The tool shed out back, windows steamed, wood grain from the work table pressing patterns into my bare thighs. You write back, we'd knock over the bag of seed for songbirds, use the footstool to get a better angle, grab the twine to bind us. I tell you the next door neighbor, pruning her shrubs, might hear us faintly, might think us an exotic bird decrying its cage, or perhaps just a bitch in heat moaning down the street. No matter, it would remind her, little Miss Mary, of her dead husband, those nights they'd escape from their newborn and hide behind the grape arbor. I watch her on the weekends, riding the lawnmower he left for her, how she smiles, dentures wiggling, as it buckles and bumps beneath her. And I know that by now, I've veered from the storyline you want, but it's still a fantasy all the same, to feel someone when they're gone. Thank you.